Fresh off the FedEx truck, it's the HTC 8XT on Sprint. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and this is HTC's first Windows Phone 8 device in some time, since the 8X. Can this compete not only with the Galaxy S4 and the HTC One, but within its own Windows Phone 8 space? Let's take a look in the unboxing and find out. It's been a while since Sprint has had a Windows Phone, and they haven't had any Windows Phone 8 devices. That changes this summer. They have two devices on the way. The HTC 8XT is there already, the Samsung Ativ S Neo coming very soon, and these are Windows Phone 8 devices with Sprint's 4G LTE network as well, so you're packing 4G LTE speeds along with Windows Phone 8. This is the 8XT, a new device from Sprint, from HTC, and specs-wise, we're looking at a 1.4 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon 400 CPU here. We've got an 8-megapixel camera on the back. I love how I turned the box around like you can actually see the camera. Camera on the back. It is under there, I promise, when we open the box in just a second. You've got LTE capabilities here. You are packing a bunch of awesome specs. 4.3-inch display, nothing to really shake a stick at. 480 by 800 pixels here on the display, 217 PPI, and then 4G LTE, like I keep saying over and over again, but it's very important because previously that wasn't a feature on the past Windows, I should say the one Windows Phone device they had. 1,800 milliamp hour battery here as well. Do you want me to say it again? 4G LTE connectivity. And you can see here is the HTC 8XT. Now, compare this to the 8X on Verizon, on AT&T, and on T-Mobile because it's very similar in a lot of ways. It feels very similar in the hand, and despite the fact that the design is very reminiscent of their mid-range Windows Phone 8 device they released along with the 8X, it's still very similar in a lot of ways, as you can see right here in the design language, to the 8X. This is the 8X on Verizon, for example, and you can see very similar across the board here. Beats audio integration over on the Sprint side. No logos on the back. HTC, Beats audio, no Sprint logo, no anything else on the front either. You've got back and then home and then your Bing button down here at the bottom, but design-wise a little bit different with the buttons here exuding a different color scheme than the overall device. So there's definitely a two-tone thing going on with the color. Now I'm going to unbox this stuff and show you what comes in the box. Before I do that, thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. When you get your 8XT, you'll walk out and be good to go with everything set up, so when you walk out the door, you don't have to worry about setting up your contacts, your email, all that jazz at Best Buy Mobile. HTC here, I'm sorry, my fiance just sent me a bunch of awesome cookies, and so I was eating cookies right before I shot this video, and yes, it is 10:47 in the morning, and I've had 4 cookies, so I'm kind of all jacked up on the sugar right now. So yes, that also makes me a fat kid. It's 10:45. And I've had 4 cookies. Anyway, back to the unboxing. HTC here, get some goodies, get a little bumper sticker. Not that you'd put that on your car, but maybe on your wall or on your computer. Maybe you would put it on your car, I don't know, who am I to judge? And then you've got this here, typical stuff that you get with HTC. Actually a really nice pair of earbuds. I've used these from the HTC One. Kind of looks like 2 red evil eyes staring at you, but I like those earbuds a lot. And then the usual suspects here in these cornstarch bags that are biodegradable, USB cable, AC adapter module. You've seen it before, I'm not really gonna open that one up. And then of course get started. Vamos, let me think, vamos lo que tiene, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember the exact words. I'm gonna open it up and find out. Get started, all you need to know. Vamos, todo lo que tienes que saber para empezar. Important information for the HTC 8XT. All this stuff you're probably not gonna read. Here's your SIM card as well, which is already in the device, courtesy of Sprint PR and HTC PR. Thanks so much for hooking us up with the device, my friends. I appreciate that, and we'll take a look at the actual device itself. I feel like there's a lot of junk. Well, let's get rid of this. There we go. Boom. And we'll start up the device here. Now, volume rocker over here on the right side, camera shortcut button. It's really a nice looking device. Front-facing camera here. You've got nothing on this side. Your micro USB charging port down here at the bottom, and power button, which I'm pressing right now in the top right-hand corner. So really a clean device, very similar to the usual design language, not only of Windows Phone 8, but of HTC in general. With the power button up top, you've got your 3.5mm headphone jack up top as well, but I'm gonna wait for the boot animation to load up so you can actually see what it looks like. HTC starting up right now, and you've got your speaker down here, your speaker up here, Beats audio integration, and of course your 8-megapixel camera on the back. And we'll see the startup sequence here so you can take a look and compare it to all the other HTC devices. The one Google Play Edition, and more. Sprint, there we go. Logo, and boom, that was kind of boring when you think about it. It was Sprint logo and it popped right in. But 4G capabilities here, LTE on Sprint. Unlike AT&T or T-Mobile, when 4G really means HSPA plus and 4G LTE actually means LTE. When Sprint says 4G, they mean 4G LTE. So something to keep in mind. Out of the box, you get DataSense. Excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold. DataSense, which used to be a Verizon exclusive, now available on all the Windows Phone devices. We saw this last year as a Verizon exclusive, but you get the goodies now. HTC, HTC Burst, HTC Camera, Make More Space, a couple of HTC applications actually. Flashlight is another HTC application, Converter, and then I've got Maps, I've got Scout, and these are Sprint applications. Sprint Music Plus, Sprint TV and Movies, Visual Voicemail, and then Wallet as well. So 4.3-inch display, 480 by 800 pixels here, so nothing really amazing on the display front, but you got nice blue color scheme here, and a typical Windows Phone 8 that we've seen a million times in the past. We'll take a look at the browser as well and compare that to the 4.7-inch display over here on the HTC One Google Play Edition, for example, and you can see, just comparing browser to browser, you can see the difference in the overall screen size. Let me get this closer to the camera so you can take a look and see the differences. So definitely, if you like the smaller displays, this could be a good option for you. If you like the HTC One Mini, but you're on Sprint, or perhaps you like Windows Phone 8, this could be a device for you. PhoneDog.com. PhoneDog.com. And it's HTC's second foray, I should say, into Windows Phone 8 as well, after their last crop, the 8X and the other devices they launched. So it's nice to see HTC back in the Windows Phone game. I love their Android devices. They do a killer job on the Android front, but it's nice to see some choice as to which OS you want. So nice to see Windows Phone 8 here. And nice to see the PhoneDog website as well. Loaded up, I should say loading up, and ready to go. 4G LTE in select markets, and then you get the HTC stuff. And while Windows Phone 8 is very kind of across the board, very similar in a lot of ways, you get the HTC application here, which is much like Sense 5 kind of condensed down into an application, because they can't make customizations to Windows Phone 8, but what they can do is bring in this HTC application, which gives you your weather, your stocks, your news, and more, and then you can have it on your home screen as well. I absolutely love this HTC widget. Or not widget, live tile, I should say. I'm used to working with Android devices. Forgive me for that. All the Windows Phone 8 lovers are going to be like, this guy's an Android fanboy. I'm not an Android fanboy, but you can see that tile right up there at the top with the time and with the weather. Really enjoy that. And let's take a look at the camera here as well. Since HTC Camera is a pre-installed application, we'll see how it looks. And let's go into HTC Camera. And yes, we're going to allow it to use my location. Of course, why not? And then here is HTC Camera. If it looks familiar, well, that's because it is familiar, my friends. It is the HTC Camera, quite literally. Take a look at this versus the HTC One Mini, for example, and you can see the user interface identical all around, obviously with the exception of the HTC Zoe button, but looks just like it running on Windows Phone 8. So if you're coming from an HTC Android device, or maybe you just have always liked the way HTC's camera app works, you got it right here. It even makes the same noises as well, and you've got the burst mode capabilities here, which it just took all those, and I'll go ahead and snap a picture. And now it's back into, let's go back into HTC Camera. That was the Windows Phone 8 thing. Interesting how it switched just then. Let's see. And then keep taking them. Or I can use, and actually just using this out of the box for the first time, I'll let you know more in the full review. It's actually easier just to hit the on-screen camera button to take these pictures. This button, when you press it down, I'm finding myself, it's a little bit too easy to take a bunch of pictures at once. Though I do find it interesting, like I said here. Okay, so I back out. Okay, well, I backed out that time and it took me back to the HTC Camera. Interesting. Oh. And not sure what's going on here, but you can see it took a bunch of pictures after I took my finger off the button. So needless to say, go ahead and use the on-screen button if you're doing burst mode. My phone storage is full already. That is not a good sign. Let's see. I'm in a gallery. How many pictures have I taken? I've probably taken like 200 pictures. Photo memories, camera roll, and we'll go ahead and get rid of some of these. Delete the burst pictures. That is not a good sign though. It's a few pictures as I've taken and the storage is already full. Let's see how much storage is available on this device. Go down here into settings. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for more coverage on the HTC 8XT on Sprint. I shouldn't do this because I know I can't talk and look for stuff at the same time. Just go into storage. Let's see here. Brightness, keyboard. Why can I not remember where it is? Date and time, brightness, keyboard, language and region, ease of access, about feedback. I thought it was an about, but I could be wrong. Anyway, keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron. I'm on Facebook at Facebook.com/Hi Aaron Baker. Would love to hear your thoughts on the HTC 8XT. Let me know if this is a device you'd consider on Sprint. If you're on Sprint, or if you're not on Sprint, if you consider switching to get this device on Sprint. I said Sprint a lot of times in a couple of sentences. Sprint, Sprint, Sprint. Keep it locked on the site for more on the HTC 8XT. We'll get this whole storage thing figured out in the full review, so keep it locked right here for more on PhoneDog.com. I'll see you next time.